let's talk about Djed Spence, because for me, he is undroppable, unstoppable, he's just been unbelievable since coming in. You also forget this is a guy that didn't play for essentially 2 years. Conte didn't fancy him, neither did Ange. I think there was an attitude problem or something underlying from what I hear. Maybe Dan, you'll know more. But the way he's come in, he's playing at left back as well, doesn't get dribbled past, he's so strong, carries the ball so well, can get forward, he's got the pace. There is nothing wrong with Djed Spence. He's the complete right left back, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some kind of off-field concerns that people at the club had, which kind of explains why he was overlooked for so long. But he has been like a revelation since coming in. And there's two things that I really like about him. One is he's so positive. Like, he was playing in front of the press box against United, and every time he gets the ball, he just gets his head up. He either plays a forward pass through the lines that's kind of risky, which is exactly what Postecoglou wants, or he just looks to dribble it forward and take on his man and run into space. And he's so positive. And then the other thing is he's so calm. Like, he'll be in the corner, he'll be being pressed by 3 players, and he'll still kind of have the same cool air about him. He'll find a way to play out, and he just never looks like he's ruffled by the pressure. I think he's been great. I think there's a case that he's actually even better at left back for Postecoglou, because he can kind of invert on his right foot, which is what Ange wants, right? Is for them to come into midfield. If he was on the right, he might kind of hug the touchline a bit more. So I'm interested to see him on the right, definitely, and Udogie on the left. But I think he couldn't be doing much better on the left at the moment. Yeah. And you have to say that Udogie's now got to earn his place back in the team.
Or Porro's got to try and keep his place as well. I mean, for me, like I said, he's an undroppable person. Yeah. Like, especially if you do have him and Udogie, I think that automatically does make your back four a little bit more sturdy than it is with Porro. Porro is so great going forward, but I do think he kind of does lack that defensive ability that Djed has.
Yeah, we said this before the Liverpool in the semi-final. He's undroppable. He is, and he's only getting better as well. And I think Ange Postecoglou said that comment, didn't he, that he's filled in really well until Udogie gets back. And it's kind of like, he could play anywhere for me, by the way, anywhere.
What, on the wing?
I think he'd go on the wing. I think he'd go into centre midfield.
He was quite good at centre-back. There was one game we had to play, and I was like, he's looking quite good there, actually.
You cannot get the ball off him. Dare I say it, a certain Dembele about him, that you cannot get the ball off him. And look, when you talk to a lot of the Spurs older players, the best player they've ever played with, Dembele, a lot of them say that. He is so good at getting forward, he's so fast. The character he's shown as well, by the way, the club said it was a club signing, or Conte said it was a club signing. To come back from a few loans as well and become...
Which didn't really go his way.
Didn't go his way. I think he had a back and forth with Neil Warnock, my former manager, and a little bit of banter with him about an attitude or perceived attitude problem. To come back and become undroppable in Ange Postecoglou's team, to get him in the Europa squad now, the Europa League squad now, when he was outcast of it, I think it shows real character and credit to him, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely, having that attitude. I mean, I'm going to put it out there. I've been Ange in. I've never wavered from it. But if he drops Djed Spence, I'm Ange out.
That's it. That's enough.
It. I will be off. I'll be off the Ange train.
Your warning.
I'll be off my island. I will be. That is the warning. So if you don't want to lose me being Ange in,
keep him in.
Keep him in the starting 11. That was his second consecutive Man of the Match award, well, so he's just absolutely
and well deserved.
Flying. Yeah, totally, absolutely flying. Archie Gray got a well-needed rest, didn't he? Lots of people saying they dropped him. He was never dropped. He was just having a rest, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess. yes, he was. Yes,
confirm. He was just having a rest.
He was just. I mean, Gray's interesting because I've actually asked Ange in the last couple of weeks, is he a centre half? And he initially said no. He's just having to play there. He's a midfielder. But I think he changed his tune a couple of weeks ago and said, maybe, who knows where he could end up. He's been very good there, and considering he's 18, he could. I think he's going to get 100 caps for England. And I don't know where they're going to be. They could be right back, could be centre half, could be centre midfield. He looks a really, really good player. Yeah. I think it will be Davis and Danso until Van der Ven and Romero are back, and then the question is, does Gray then go into midfield? Because I don't think anyone's wholly convinced by either Basuma or Bentancur in the 6 role. There's a kind of vacancy there, and I'd be interested to see what Gray can do in it.
Yeah, I'd like to see him at number 6. I would, because that's his position. Yeah. But I did say this last time I was on. I think he could maybe stay at centre half and get those England caps at centre half as well. And I agree that the kid's got so much talent. And along with Jed Spence, we have 2 England internationals pending.
Absolutely.
For sure. And maybe the next squad.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they both they definitely warrant a call-up.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them do. As much as I would rather actually them both rest in case they do get injured, knowing our luck, I would definitely think that if not both, one would definitely be getting that call-up.
It's another good reason to play left-back for Jed Spence, because England don't have any left-backs.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, that's true. So are we saying that maybe Archie Gray, when everyone is fully fit, would partner Mickey van der Ven?
No, I do think he'll go into midfield. I do, as you said, we do need that.
We're desperate for
that number 6.
We are desperate for
but we haven't seen him there yet.
No.
We haven't seen him play there. I do know a few Leeds supporters who have seen him there and said he's even better there, even though they've seen him play well at centre-half. But I'm just saying he's so versatile. He could play in the centre-half, in the number 6. He's so calm on the ball and assured. And for sure, England international, along with Jed Spence, as I said.
Honestly, a Gray and Bergvall little partnership there. I mean,
we're not even mentioning Bergvall that much.
Bergvall did brilliantly at the weekend. Absolutely brilliantly. They've literally carried us the last few months. Let's be honest. All right, let's kind of move on, because there was a huge protest as well, which was organised by Change for Tottenham, Change for Spurs. It was all about leaving out ENIC out, which has been building a lot of kind of traction lately, and I guess rightly so. People are not happy with the way that the club is being run on the pitch. The 42% wage to revenue information, I think, kind of intensified it even more when you think about the type of players that have probably come through Spurs, even ones that we might know about that maybe other people don't know about, and have ended up at a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a United, etc., because of the wages. It's got to be so frustrating. And Dan, as someone that obviously covers Spurs week in, week out, and you have your own podcast and you are a Spurs fan, you obviously have an insight from all different angles and perspectives on this as to why there is so much, what's the word? Frustration, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I can totally empathise, and there is a lot of frustration at the ownership at the moment. I think partly, and ANGE said this, it's not a secret, that's because of current results, the results over the last 2.5 months. I think if Spurs hadn't had the injury crisis and they carried on punching around sort of 5th to 7th, which I think is where they were after the City win in November, then I think there would still be simmering frustration, but it wouldn't be on the scale we saw on Sunday. But I think this is much bigger than just this season, right? I mean, we've had nearly a quarter of a century of ENIC's ownership, 1 trophy in that period. And there is a sense, I think, from Spurs fans that the ownership's decisions are the reason that the club doesn't fulfil its obvious potential. No one doubts they've done a huge amount of good for Tottenham. We see the stadium every single weekend, and it is magnificent. And on the commercial side, Spurs are flying, and they're kind of future-proofed and in a great spot in terms of the financial rules, etc. But the success on the pitch hasn't been there. And I think people look at Levy, fans look at Levy and say, he's got a brilliant vision for the business and commercial side of the club. He hasn't matched that with a vision for the football side of the club. And that is the issue. And that's the kind of gnawing frustration for supporters. So I think if Spurs pick up from here, the injured players come back, they go on a deep run in the Europa League and they put together a streak in the league, then some of that will die down, but not all of it.